In this video, we will be searching for light families, loading them into Revit, placing them automatically, setting up emergency lights, setting up standards, and then checking if we have achieved those standards. We're also going to be finding some sensors, we're going to be placing them, analyzing the coverage, and finally generating schedules for everything. All of this will be done with the help of ReluxCAD Add-on for Revit. Let's go. Relux is a company that specializes in development of lighting planning and product presentation software for more than 25 years. More importantly for us, Relux is a leader when it comes to BIM solutions, and they participate in many national and international committees. We're going to be focusing on an add-on ReluxCAD for Revit, which is an easy-to-use toolset for Revit that features some really practical options like emergency lighting, clear display of complex products, interior and exterior measurement areas, simulation of IEC passive infrared sensors, bidirectional interface for communication with lighting designers. Now, if you would like to try out ReluxCAD, I'm going to be including a link up in the cards above and then also down in the description of this video. That's the downloads page, and also there you can find the US edition of ReluxCAD that has Imperial measurement system. So if you're based in the US or do projects there, you can use that one. There is also a special self-study offer that's available. You can see the coupons here, and you can use those coupon codes to get this special offer, and I'm also going to be including a little bit more information in the description of the video and then also down in the comment section as well. And full disclosure, this is a sponsored video. So now, without any further ado, let's jump straight into Revit. And as you can see, here I am in Revit. This is the project that we're going to be using for this demonstration, and up here you can find the Relux tab. This is something that you get when you install the Relux add-on for Revit. So I'm going to get started by assigning usage profiles to our rooms. Let's get started with the largest one, which is in this case this open space area that we have. So I'm just going to select that room, and then let's go to the Relux tab, and here we have the usage profiles. So I'm just going to click on that. It's going to open up this menu. Let's make it a bit smaller, and then here I want to pick offices because this is, well, an office, and then I'm going to go with the 34.2, which is for writing, typing, reading, and data processing. Then I'm just going to click on apply. It's going to open up the step of Luminance window, and here we have some nominal values. I'm going to pick the first one, which is 500 lux Iluminance value. So then let's click OK. And now we have assigned that. Now, in certain situations like this, where we have three rooms which are quite similar and we're probably going to have the same Iluminance value for these as well, well, what I'm going to do is just use the room manager. So let's click on the room manager. It's going to open up a window like this. Then here I'm going to search for this so that these are offices. So I'm just going to start typing that out. And what you'll notice here is we basically have all of the rooms divided by levels. Here we have all of the ones on level 1. So I'm just going to check these three, and then let's assign a usage profile here. And then here I'm just going to follow the same process of picking out offices. I'm going to go with the same profile, hit apply, and then also let's pick the same nominal value of 500 lux Iluminance. Click OK, and now this has been assigned. The next step is going to be to load in the Luminaires. So let's close out of this menu. Then I'm going to go to the ReluxNet button, and that's going to actually open up ReluxNet. Here we can search for Luminaires. So I'm just going to expand this a bit further, perhaps like this. Okay, so now I'm searching for Luminaires. Obviously, we can pick out sensors and 3D objects, but for now, let's stick to Luminaires. Then let's search for the LDC type. So for this, I want a downlight. Then I'm going to search for application, and this will be interior. And then I can pick out an office as kind of a subcategory. Moving forward, we have the mounting place. This will be the ceiling. Then we have the mounting type, which will be recessed in this case. And now we have a set of luminaires that we can work with. So here I'm going to pick this one, the Easy Lux, and then let's open that up. And here let's search for this one, for example, and then here we have all of the information. I can filter by image. So for example, I can search for this one, and then here we have kind of a description and some important information. So this one is going to work really well. I am looking for at least 3900 Iluminance value, so this will work. And then if I take a look at the dimensions here, those fit in very well into my project, so I'm just going to stick with this one. Then we have this open in Revit button, so I'm just going to click on that, and that's going to basically load in this family into Revit. And as you can see, it's over here on the side. For the second luminaire, let's go here to new search. We're going to keep it at luminaires, obviously. Then for the LDC type, I'm just going to go with the same downlight. Then we're going to find application. This will be interior as well. However, this will be for traffic zones and more specifically for corridors. Then let's scroll down and find the mounting place, which will also be at the ceiling. However, for the mounting type, I'm going to go for a surface mounted. This will give us a list of luminaires, and then I'm just going to go with this specific type, and I'm just going to click on this first one. That's going to open it up, and then again I can filter by image. I prefer this one, so I'm just going to click on that. Now here, if I go through all of the properties, you can see that here the light flux is less than 2000 luminance, so I don't want this. I want it to be over 2000 luminance, so I'm just going to go here through different articles and find the one that fits my requirements. So here, okay, so for example, let's say this one, or we can search for even stronger ones if we can find something. So for example, this one is very good, so we can go with that one. And then I'm just going to click here to open in Revit, and that's going to load in that family as well. Now we can just click here to exit out of this window, and then to place the lights we need to open up a ceiling plan. So this is our first level. Let's go to project browser, find ceiling plans, and then let's open up the level 1 ceiling plan. First, we're going to be placing luminaires in this open space area, and we're actually going to be doing that automatically. First, let's select the room by making a cross selection, going to filter, and then I'm just going to check rooms here, hit apply, and now I can place luminaires automatically with the Easy Lux tool. So I'm just going to click here, and then it's going to ask me to increase the accuracy. The calculation of room values should be activated, and yeah, let's activate that. And then it's going to open up a window for Easy Lux, and here I'm just going to center it a little bit. First, we want to check that we're using the correct luminaire, and we are, so this is the one I want to use. Then I'm going to check the work plane height, which looks correct. Also, we want to make sure that the maintenance factor is set. Okay, so here this, then we have the mounting type, seems correct. Now, really important, the Iluminance value, which is set to 500 lux, so that's important to double check. And there we go. So everything seems to be in order, and now we can move to the luminaire arrangement. And here we can see the outline of that room, and we have all of the luminaires. Now here we seem to have a gap in this part of the room, and that's also reflected here in the results where the uniformity isn't really perfect. So we can actually fix this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to find the luminaire wall offset. Now I'm going to change this to 0.2, and then also I'm going to uncheck auto just like this, and then let's calculate. So now we can see that an extra light was added here, and also when we take a look at the results, everything does seem to be in order. So now let's hit apply, and it's going to tell us that 28 luminaires have been added to this open space room, and then we can just hit finish, and as you can see, we have all of those luminaires added. Now here we do have a gap just because we have a column there, but because of that smaller wall offset, we did manage to squeeze in an additional luminaire here. Moving forward, for the second method, we're going to be using the room manager again. So we have already assigned the usage profile previously. Again, I'm going to search for the same offices. So here we have those 3 offices. I can just click here to check them all, and then we can go to Luminaires and just click on basic lighting so we can pick out the luminaires for these 3 offices. I'm going to pick this one, and then as you can see, those were applied here. Now I'm going to also click on calculate after placement, and now to actually place those, we just need to click on this button here to place luminaires. And it's going to tell us that 12 luminaires have been added to 3 rooms. Let's click OK. And here also in the results, we can see that we have green letters. So that means that all of these requirements in the results are satisfactory. If some of these were red, that would mean that we have an issue, but they're not. So everything seems to be OK. So let's just close this menu. And now if we zoom in on those rooms, we can see the 4 luminaires that were added to all 3 of these offices. Now we also have to add some luminaires here in the corridor or hallway. So for those, we're going to be using these ones. However, I also want to turn on the emergency mode for these ones. So in this configuration window, we have multiple options. I'm going to go with luminaire used for both emergency and normal artificial lighting. And then here we have the luminance flux factor. So I'm going to set that to 15% luminance flux. So that's going to give us this value, kind of deriving it from the main artificial lighting illuminance flux value. So then I'm just going to click OK. Now we're going to select our luminaire here, and then let's place a few of them in this hallway. So I'm just going to spin it around by hitting the space key. Let's place a couple of them just like this. I'm going to then hit the escape key a couple of times, select these 2, and then let's just copy them a few times just to fill out this hallway, perhaps like that. And then finally, let's add one more kind of vertically over here, and then hit the escape key a couple of times. Now, this being the kind of emergency lights, what we can do is we can go here to emergency mode, turn that on, and then what you'll notice is that here we have some more options. So what you'll notice is all of these. Now on your computer, this will probably be on the ribbon kind of regularly. Here I'm just using a smaller screen just so everything looks bigger. So anyways, here in the emergency panel, we have this on-off option. So we can use this to actually activate some of these existing lights as emergency lights, so they can be used both as kind of regular office lights, but also in emergency situations. So let's select this luminaire, the first one that we've used, and then I'm just going to open up the emergency configuration. Here I'm going to set this luminaire used for both emergency and normal artificial lighting. And for the luminous flux factor for the emergency, I'm going to go with 20% luminance flux, and then let's click OK. So having set this up, now what we can do is we can go here to on off, and then I can select, for example, a set of luminaires here, and then I'm going to go with one in each of these offices, so we can specify these to be emergency lights, and then I can just hit the escape key a couple of times. Now let's check out some of the results. So what I'm going to do is open up the room's level 1 floor plan, and then here let's go and check out the false color tool. So I'm just going to turn that on, and it's going to give us this display. I can move over this representation, basically, or a scale of, or a color scale of what's going on here. So this is showing us our illuminance, and as you can see, this is at 500 lux, and this is 700 or 750, and then it goes all the way up to 794. and then of course it goes down to 248, and we can see kind of visually with these colors what that looks like in our model inside of those rooms where we have placed the lights. Now I can turn this off, and we can also check out the nominal values. So when we click on that, it's actually going to create a whole new floor plan for this display. As you can see, it has created this whole new floor plan, and then here we have a little graph just showing us, or a little table showing us what's going on here. We can also go on and turn the rooms off, and yeah, so it's going to look like this. So as we can see, everything is in that range of 500 to 750 lux, which is very good. That's exactly what we were looking for this model. Now let's go back to our first level rooms, and then also I want to show you an option for results, which is a table. So when we turn this on, what you'll notice is basically a table. Here we have points, and then you get a lux value for each of these points, so you can see kind of in a table view what's going on here and what are the results. So as you can see, we have that all the way around our rooms where we're actually testing the results. So now I'm just going to turn this off. Now let's go back to our ceiling plan where we have placed our lights or luminaires, and we have placed these emergency lights as well, or the luminaires that double as emergency lights. So we can go further into this, and we can go to emergency objects. Now that's going to open up this additional panel here. So here on this emergency objects panel, we have options to create anti-panic areas, high-risk areas, and even plan out our escape routes and place emergency signs and so on. So in this case, what I want to do is I want to plan out my anti-panic area. So let's go with the room option. Okay, so I'm going to select this room here, this corridor. So let's select that one. Now, once this has been done, then we can go back to our first level floor plan for rooms, and then let's select this room, go here to emergency, and then we can calculate this. Now, once it has been calculated, I can select that same room, and then here we can go and we can observe the boundary line. We can also show the live results, and then that would look like this. Now for live results, it's live in terms of we don't have to run calculations again. So what we can do now is let's just change the view range here. So I'm just going to change my view range. Here on top, let's go to 350, and then here let's go to 310, so we can observe our emergency lights here. And now we can actually test this out. So if I go here to on off, and then if I start turning off some of these luminaires, as you can see, it's going to give us a different display. So we can use this in order to try and see how many of these we actually need. So this doesn't work, so perhaps, for example, perhaps this might be just enough. So we might not need to have all of them turned on as emergency lighting in order to achieve desired results. Next, let's go here and let's just turn this off for now, this display. So I'm just going to go here and then turn off this. Okay, so now let's talk about room tags. So here we have just regular room tags. This is because this project was developed in a version of Revit that didn't have Relux installed. However, with Relux we get some useful room tags for all of our calculations and just to observe what we have done. So I'm just going to select this one here, and then let's right click, and then I'm going to go to select all instances in the view, And now, once we have done that, I can now switch this. So let's switch this to a Relux room tag. I'm going to pick this one. And now, as you can see, the change has applied. So now we can see here we have a room tag that's going to give us some information for the room. So this is for a room for writing, typing, reading, data processing, and so on. So here we have some values. We're looking for 500 lux or more for the luminance, and then also we have our standard set. And have we reached it? Yes, for this room, for this one, and yeah, for all of them we have reached the standards that we have set up. Now also we have the ability, so let me try a different one. So we have this _EMG tag, and now all of the results for emergency calculations will be displayed in this here room tag. Moving forward, let's turn off the emergency mode, and now so here I'm just going to turn that off, and now we're going to be talking about sensors. So when it comes to sensors, first we need to load some in. And we're going to be looking for sensors here in ReluxNet. However, first let's just change the floor plan here. So I just want to change my view range back to the original settings which we had, just like this. Hit apply. Okay, and now let's go to ReluxNet and look for those sensors. So I'm going to expand this window a little bit, then let's switch the product type here to sensors. So first I'm going to, let's actually go with this one. This one looks good. Here we can see the image. I want to see the motion detection scheme. Seems to look okay. So now let's load this. So it's just going to open it inside of Revit. So it's loading in that family. And also here it's going to open up the sensor browser. So what you'll notice, if I just minimize this, what you'll notice here is we have our sensors. However, we can switch to Luminaire browser at any point. Now let's search for another one. So I'm just going to go back to new search, and then here let's see what we can find. Okay, so I actually like this one because I would like to have a more wider distribution, something for a corridor or something like that. So I think this one would be really good. So I'm just going to select and load in this sensor as well. And now we can just close out of this menu, and now it's time to actually place them. For that, let's go back to our project browser, find our ceiling plan. So let's open up the level 1 ceiling plan. Let's go with this sensor first, and now we want to place it. So I'm just going to place it. I think this is a good position, so I'm just going to place it there. Hit the escape key a couple of times, and then here in the sensors I'm just going to turn or hide all areas just so we can place another one. So let's go back here, and then I'm going to place another one. Let's just place it over here just like that, and then also I'm going to hit the escape key a couple of times. Now let's also place one in the corridor as well. So I'm going to go with this one. Let's use the space key to flip it around, and then I think I can place it, just like this. Click, place, hit the escape key a couple of times, and now what I'm going to do is go here to sensors, and then we can turn all of these 3 on so we can visually confirm what this looks like, if we have good overlap or if we have some problematic spots here in the floor plan. However, this all seems to be working out exactly the way it should, so we really have no problems here. Now we can also calculate what this looks like in 3D, so we can get a 3D volume of what the coverage is. So I have just turned that on, and now it's going to do that 3D calculation. And it has created basically this mesh that just shows that 3D volume of the coverage. So let's actually create a camera view just so we can visualize this in the 3D view. So something like this. And let's bring the camera down a little bit. So let's go down to perhaps 400. Okay, apply. And then this is what we get. I can even turn this into shaded, and now we can see that coverage better. So as you can see, we have these 3D meshes which we can select and just see what's covered. Also, we have the ability to observe our results in form of schedules. So here we have the measuring surfaces. So if I just click on that, it's going to open up a schedule or a table view. And here we can see the calculation areas. So this is what that looks like. We can also go back to Relux, and then we also have the schedule option. So that's going to give us a radiosity results table. So as you can see, this is only, of course, for the rooms which we have covered. So we can see all of the parameters in a single place and all of the values in that schedule. Also, if we go back here and turn back the emergency mode on, here we also have the option to view this in an actual schedule. So I can open that up. So this is the emergency calculation areas schedule. So we have all of the values for that. We then also have the really important result schedule. So let's open that up. Here we have the radiosity results for this. So we can have all of the values for that. And we're going to be concluding this video here. So we have kind of outlined the entire process of placing luminaires, doing some calculations, planning out our emergency lighting, and so on and so forth. Thank you for watching. If you want to check out ReluxCAD, as I've mentioned before, the link is up in the cards above and then also down in the description of this video.